So we're still on our trip. It says on Highway 307, but I'm supposed to be 106. I know they go do the same thing for a while. But anyways, we're on our way to Palenque, and I'm explaining why, after so much time, am I directing the energies of the UN Office of the Future with Yunga. Well, I'll tell you how it happened. When I first met, I met Kelly 12 years ago. And I gave her some tips then. We did some very, very minor level mentoring. But we had a good relationship, and I ran into her again like maybe 6 months ago. And no, it was just after November. So it was November, December. Because she had just come back, and we were in a conversation, and I heard her say that she was at COP 28, that she told me about the problems she had there. Well, I looked into Yunga a bit, and she's got 12 UN agencies on her sponsored page. That's pretty incredible. I knew she had worked in the past with the B team, which I don't have a great deal of respect for, by the way, because the B team that Sir Richard Branson started, and Paul Pullman. And I knew that Paul Pullman took a liking to her and was mentoring her at Level X. So I sort of backed off when they were doing it, because the B team hadn't really formulated a real direction yet. They were struggling to find an identity, and they took over. They stole the imagery of the B Corp. And B Corp. That's another whole story. I don't want to go into. But B Corp was a competing energy for the ISO 26000. And it's a good idea, just implemented badly. I won't be too, why do I have that thought? BDC, Canada's BDC, adopted the B Corp philosophy, and I think it's changed now, but when I was first investigating their functionality with B Corp, they were incompetently implementing it within the BDC organization, and it ought to have bared looking at. B Corp has standards, and what do you say? They didn't live up to the standards of checking. How do I know this? Because I reported the BDC was not telling everybody that they were a member of the B Corp. So they should have been bragging about it and having all their staff know about it. Because when I was investigating it, I went and checked 7 different offices. Not one of the offices had any idea what a B Corp was. So I reported that, and I forget the name of the guy that said, you should be using the ISO 26. Oh, we're a B Corp. We're a B Corp. Yeah. So they put a lot of money into B Corp, becoming a B Corp. And I think today, this bears verifying, of course, but it seems that one of the new higher ups mentions it somewhere. I don't recall exactly what they're doing with it, but they're doing something with it now. I'm not giving them my blessing yet. Okay, so that's B Corp, B Team. Whoops, you dropped your hat. Found it. Can only do so many things. So we talked about B Team, B Corp. Now, where is the B Team today? They've got a new CEO, and I've attempted to communicate with her a few times, and this is my bad. I just can't get through to these people. They're doing all the same stuff, but they don't know how to integrate ISO 26000 with B Team, with B Corp. I mean, it's all the same stuff, and probably the thing that is best to integrate them is a practical, functional use of PO and the 10 transformers. If they would do that, we would all be better off. But that's what I'm looking at. Yunga is going to be. They're going to, as I see it, we haven't argued it yet or discussed it intensively, but we've sort of agreed on the principles. Being the 10 questions, the 10 transformer. All people coming into Yunga are going to answer the 10 transformers and use PO. And they're going to get paid to do so. They're going to get paid a BTC to filling out the form. They're going to get paid a BTC for filling out the form. Now, the question ultimately becomes, is one BTC enough? Let me tell you why. Yunga is on Discord. We should make that a point. Discord is it's a summary of networks all around the world, all of them unconnected. Their only connection is the platform, but the platform, I don't know this yet, how the platform works to push stuff out to the full network. I'm assuming that it does, and that makes the network worth a lot of money in terms of internet platforms. And I believe that we can move them from, I think they have 150 million plus or minus daily users, or maybe it's monthly users, 150 million daily users, I think. And we can push information to those mega millions and have them all have at least one BTC. BTG. Bridge that gap. BTGX. Now, if every one of them has one, questions, the 10 transformers, on one subject area. So what we have to ask, why are you joining Younger? Might be the question. Why are you joining? And you ask it, is it relevant to your life? Are you being wise? Does it help you with us? You ask the 10 questions and you get your yes, no, or po. Well, on first blush, it will be very interesting when we get Discord just to ask all their members. Well, we can ask them, are you planning to use the BTGX? Well, we'll get a lot of pose there because they don't know. They don't know about it yet. And that's one of the things that we're going to be teaching through Younger is how to use the 10 transformers as a personal income thing too. It'll be a cost to them, except we're paying for it. So it's they have a negative cost. In other words, they make money. So how much money do we want them to make? It depends on what the value is determined to be. And if we start off with 1 BTG, it will be enough. It'll at least give them a taste of what a BTG is. And when people have enough BTGs out there, maybe we'll have people collect them. I don't know. But a BTG it's a digital currency for the future, and we'll have everybody in the world using our BTGs. From my lips to God's ears. So that was why Younger, they had a digital platform. I didn't know it was Discord at the time, but when I learned that it was Discord, I got very excited because Discord was just involved with something in the U.S. where they have to do a behavioral analysis. All of the platforms are spending $1 billion a year to evaluate their platforms. They've committed, like it was on national television, national world television, and they all agreed that they're going to spend money and evaluate their people in their systems. What better way than using our 10 transformers with maybe a different question? Fired. We could maybe think this is something to think about. Should we develop specific questions that people use for the 10 transformers, and maybe we could have different values to answering it depending on the question. That could be a very fascinating exploration. This question is worth 10 BTGs. This question is worth only 1. And we can build in processes for sharing that information, because that information will be valuable. Much more so, which takes me back to Julio. Julio is explaining to me why Bing isn't going to be very good, and in fact will be very dangerous. And I concur with his doesn't understand their relationship. Bing doesn't have a qualifying algorithm to determine right from wrong even. They don't know right from wrong. And they acknowledge it. And when you ask them the question, maybe this thing, what is, maybe I have to ask that question. I haven't asked them specifically. I have asked them to qualify Poe and the 10 transformers. I have taken Bing through the exercise over 5 times. Each time I take them through it, the conclusion is Poe is a great idea. One of the things, when I used the term, and it was Gene Houston's use of the term describing Poe, was that Poe is a language laxative. When I use that term, language laxative, with Bing, it got me into a discussion with Bing, and they agreed that being a language laxative was an important concept, and that they would put into their database the fact that Poe is a language laxative. It's a good thing for stimulating discussion. So that was their first go-round with me, or fifth actually. But I would ask later more questions about it, and they forgot that it wasn't in their database. Even though they told me that they were going to put it in their database. So who do you complain to? God, I'm on the doorstep of the guy who is spearheading the LSEG, the London Stock Exchange Group, their contract with Microsoft Bing to integrate the Refinitiv network into the Microsoft network. This is like probably the biggest deal in the world. If you can imagine, like one of the major stock exchanges bought over a company, Refinitiv. They bought it over for $27 billion. Cash, I believe it was. $27 billion. LSEG Group bought Refinitiv and hired Microsoft Bing to integrate it. Well, I thought this is a perfect place to put Poe in. While they're integrating their systems, if they put Poe in, they will make their integration relevant. Mind-blowing, true. Huge, true. But right now, the guy who's in charge of it, Peregrine, is his name, his or her name, I think it's a female name, doesn't respond to my emails where I made a proposal. I said I'd like to negotiate a proposal to integrate our algorithm with your Bing algorithm. Give me the same deal that you're giving Bing. Well, this person doesn't respond. Maybe I should write a game and ask, like, maybe demand a response. And how do you get responses from people that don't want to talk to you because what you're talking about is over their head? And it's over my head. I don't even understand it, to be honest. But I know that it's can say I don't know exactly how it works, but I know that I've used ChatGPT, I've used Bing, I've used Copilot, and I can't make a distinction between any of them. I think they're all equally dumb, and I'm pretty dumb too because I can't figure out how to get them to incorporate Poe into their algorithm. And so tried to talk to the right people, but I haven't been successful, not yet. And I look forward to making those discoveries. Okay, so Jeffrey Sachs is out to lunch on that stuff. He's not up to scratch he's not up to scratch on the UN system, which he's the number one advisor. He's the guy who designed the SDGs, and he advises on it. He sits on a couple of big committees and probably gets paid a ton of money. But I don't know. I wonder what would have happened if he was made president of the World Bank. That would be an interesting conundrum for the American politicians. That was why they didn't hire him, was because he's really against the New American Century initiative that both of the Republicans and the Democrats support. This Make America Great Again is, just more language for the New American Century. And what the New American Century was, back in the mid-90s, it was a group of Americans, I forget all of the names, Wolfowitz comes to mind. I don't know if Jane Wolfenson was there. No, I don't know. But there was a whole team of guys that had this idea that the world is in a particular predicament right now. If we don't take it over, it'll be a big mistake. And then they went to war. And the reason their economy is doing so well is because they're warmongers. So the enemy of warmongers is peacemakers. So they don't hear us. Peacemakers don't have a voice. We did in our lives have this one accomplishment: attaching rights and responsibilities. Prior to our intervention at the Vienna Conference, in international documents, you rarely, if ever, heard the terms rights and responsibility. Well, we brought that information to the Vienna Conference in Montreal, and we got it put into the final documents as a preamble. That was one of, I call that one of my major accomplishments in the world, and it's never been properly reported on because the media won't touch it. They don't want to be responsible and take any responsibility for what they print. But they have the right to, but they also have a responsibility, and that is what they don't want to be called up on. I did that in 1991. I think. Yeah, it was 91. So, since 1991, are we going to be better with Yunga? Well, Yunga they made a presentation at COP28. Well, before the presentation, they got screwed. They got screwed. Much worse than I had ever anticipated. Because when she first told me that they had problems at COP28, I said, well, how badly was it? Well, $500,000. What? $500,000? How did that work? Well, the way it worked, it was that Kelly had organized 62 people from her organization from around the world to come to express opinions and tell their story. The day when they arrived, there was the hotel, which was charging $250 a night, which is a bloody lot. They tripled it to $750. So you take that $500 and times it's 560 people, 300,000, and then the other costs related to that. So I mean, just unbelievable. And I've reported what they did, what the UAE did. They organized a group called Youngo, Youngo, not Yunga, which is us. Well, Youngo was a group of well-meaning kids who probably didn't know anything about what was going down. Of the 62 people, I think 10 of ours made it into Youngo. I'm not exactly clear on that. I'm wondering if I should stop and get directions. What they say. No, I don't know what they say. What do they say? Anyways, so Yunga got blasted with, I don't know how she resolved it all, but everything sort of worked out for her, and I'm waiting to see her report. Her report's supposed to be ready by mid-April. Let me stop this for a minute. So I'm explaining about why I'm throwing my stuff in with Yunga. Well, the other main thing was I was have been working with Adam Stewart and Adam's wife Kate, and they have developed a volunteer program that their volunteer program. It's called Karma Hub, and he's got what I would consider a rather complicated notion of how we get volunteers to work. But I think it's going to work out with Kelly, because he sees the value of Kelly's BTG currency, and he sees the value of her work. I mean, her work is spectacular. But Karma Hub was struggling on its own. festival lawns. So what we have put together is a team where now Adam can do his Karma Fest hub, Karma Fest initiative, working with Kyunga. And while there could be two different tokens, one a Karma Hub token or a Younger token, which the Younger token is the BTG. I personally like the BTG. The Karma token, well, it's a nice idea. It's the same thing, because it doesn't matter what you call your currency. You just have to have one that gets some gravitas quickly. Now, given that we have 12 UN agencies that have already been exposed to it, now when I say exposed, I can't tell you at what level they've been exposed. But level X, 12 UN agencies are all aware of the BTGX at level X. Different X's. This is huge. This is huge. This means that we will have a digital currency put through 12 UN agencies. And we'll do it using the 10 transformers. We get each of the agencies to use the 10 transformers and develop a process for evaluating people, having people self-evaluate is what it is. It's a self-evaluation tool. So we just need to develop a number of different applications for the tool. I mean, if we use it, we can actually set up a separate business for each ways we want to use the tool. Because each business will be like $1 million business. I mean, we could have each of the 12 sectors on the appropriation wheel be a focal point.